Nicholas in LA.
Hi, what's up, you guys? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you're too up on California politics, but just a few states away, we're going to have a gubernatorial election and a statewide election come November.
Mm-hmm.
One of the initiatives for the voters that's going to be on the ballot is the Tax Cannabis 2010 initiative, which passes everyone over the age of 21 will be able to own, I think it's about an ounce of marijuana without a medical use or anything like that. It's just strictly for everyone over 21. And I was wondering if you guys thought that this is an issue atheists in general should take on, or if atheists getting involved would taint either issue.
I don't personally see it as an atheist issue.
Yeah, I don't see how it's an atheist issue. I do think that if atheists jumped on board, it may, potentially taint the issue. If atheist groups started coming out saying, yeah, we want to legalize marijuana, because the first thing that's going to happen is say, well, this demonstrates what we always suspected. This issue has absolutely nothing to do with religion or atheism, and so they're just trying to, they're a bunch of hippie, drug-smoking, buffoon. There's, on a personal level, I have no objection to legalization. I have no interest in it either way, but it's not an issue that's relevant to atheism or the ACA or this show or anything else.
One way that I think it could be seen that way is that for people who want it, or at least for some people who want it legalized, they consider it a fundamental citizen's right to put the things that they want to into their body. In a similar way, being an atheist and being not associated with any religion, as an American citizen, you decide the right to think the way that you want to think.
That makes it a civil liberties issue, and not an atheist issue.
Yeah.
No, but I think they're similar because I think the atheist issue is somewhat of a civil issue.
No, there are tons of civil issues. There are tons of civil issues, but that doesn't mean that one is necessarily related to the other. What I'm saying is that this is not in any way an atheist issue, and the way you know is that atheism is a rejection of God claims, and that's it. There's nothing at all within, because there is no ism, there is no atheism. It's a response to to theism. So there's nothing that'll necessarily tell you what any particular atheist or atheist group actually believes. There could be 10 atheists in this room, and 3 could be in favor of legalization, 3 could be in favor of criminalization, and the other could be stoned out of their mind.
I'll agree with you that it doesn't necessarily have to do with one issue, has to do with the other. It just seems like people who would be for freedom of thought would be also for freedom of putting things into your body that...
Okay, but what does atheism have to do with freedom of thought? You're starting with a result and trying to tie results together. The result being atheism. Atheism, in my case at least, is a result of my skepticism and a certain set of values. And that makes these things consistent with one another, which is why I have no problem with legalization. But it doesn't make them dependent on each other. In the same way, in order for something to actually be an atheist issue, it has to be derived from it. And we've already agreed that's not the case. And that's why I'm saying it's not an atheist issue.
I guess that makes sense, but I guess I'll have to agree to disagree. But thanks for taking my call.
Okay.
Okay.
It makes sense, but we'll agree to disagree.
We got an email from a guy that was basically connecting atheism to another issue that's not atheism. He was objecting to Kathleen Johnson's visit here when she was on the show, saying that somehow she was pro-militaristic and in favor of invading Iraq and bombing innocent civilians, and one of those.
Really?
Yeah. I responded to him appropriately.
What an odd thing to send to somebody who is retired military and former military. Yeah. There is nothing, it's not even the ACA has a particular position on military issues, even though we have position statements. It's not, wow, we're back to something we've talked about 4 or 5 times before, which is you and I agree on this God issue, therefore you're likely to agree with me on this other issue. And the answer is no. Yeah. I'm not. That doesn't make me more like. Well, all right. It may make me more likely to, depending on how you derived that. but in much the same way that, well, we have disagreements, with each other, even within our group. We have had it on the nonprofits. It's well known what we are not fans of, and I won't mention them because it'll bring in the email again. But if I think it's because atheists are a minority in the population.
Yeah.
And so it is viewed often as this kind of fringe belief. And so these guys are likely to also believe these fringe things that I believe. Yeah. No, I'm an atheist because of a reliance on critical thinking, skepticism, and science. I am skeptical of any claim until it's actually been demonstrated by evidence. I am, from a social standpoint, my ideas on rights and stuff are derived from a set of principles that are consistent with my atheism, but not tied to it in any way. And the fact that you and I happen to agree that we don't believe there's a God doesn't mean we're going to agree on anything else. But we still get email.
Yes, but if you don't agree that my colloidal silver homeopathic preparation works for any and all diseases, then you're just not being a critical thinker.
There you go.
You're just like those theists you rail against. So, yep.